I'm sharp like a knife. Small time streamer, no fame, no crown, but my voice is my own, I won't back down. I guess I'm too raw, too rough, too plain, but I'm spitting my heart, not chasing some game. No corporate leash, no puppet on strings. I'm free in my words, hear the truth that I bring. No big channel shine, no glitter, no fakes. Minimal effort, just me and my taste. I'm speaking the truth, let the whole world know. Small time streamer, but that's how I roll. Do my words hit hard, give the system the chills. Minimal effort, no budget, no frills. I'm carving my path, let the fire erupt. Small time dreamer with a voice that's enough. Got a webcam flicker and a beat in my chest. Bass takes in my veins, spilling facts is my quest. I'm breaking the mold, no mainstream appeal. Just a kid with a dream and a heart made of steel. I sift through the data, the left and the right. No bias, no agenda, just seeking the light. They laugh at my setup, my low-res stream, but my words cut deeper than the corporate screen. I guess I'm too raw, too rough, too plain, but I'm spitting my heart, not chasing some game. No corporate leash, no puppet on strings. I'm free in my words, hear the truth that I bring. No big channel shine, no glitter, no fakes. Minimal effort, just me and my takes. I'm speaking the truth, let the whole world know. Small time streamer, but that's how I roll. Do my words hit hard, give the system the chills. Minimal effort, no budget, no frills. I'm carving my path, let the fire erupt. Small time dreamer with a voice that's enough. I'm the spark in the dark, the glitch in the code. Carving my lane on this uncharted road. Million subs, no viral fame, but I'm owning the truth and I'm changing the game. I'll scream till my lungs give out, till the signal's dead. Every word that I speak is the blood that I bled. No big channel shine, no glitter, no fakes. Minimal effort, just me and my takes. I'm speaking the truth, let the whole world know. Small time streamer, but that's how I roll. Do my words hit hard, give the system the chills. Minimal effort, no budget, no frills. I'm carving my path, let the fire erupt. Small time dreamer with a voice that's enough.
Hey guys, I'm alive. I'm here. I know I missed last week on Monday. I freaking didn't even try. I had no energy, no time. Honestly, I can't remember what Monday was. It's been a very, very long year so far. And this is kind of like my decompressing time now. Actually, with Father's Day being this last weekend, as well as like my daughter's softball championship and everything else. And then my daughter losing the 2 games in the championship, and it was a rough weekend. It wasn't very relaxing, I'll say that. We spent about 9 hours at the softball field. And to spend all that time out in the sun, stressing over her games and trying our hardest to get a win, and then losing both games, not getting her the three-peat, feeling like a failure as one of the coaches, it was just not a whole lot of fun. It was very, very, very brutal. It's all good. I mean, yeah, Sally, I know that people are very much sympathetic to the fact that that's life. We all have a lot of shit going on. Family and real life takes priority to everything else. It just sucks because I'm trying to stay consistent, and there's so much going on behind the scenes with my real life, with work and everything else on top of sports. Now that our regular season of baseball and softball is over, we're doing all-stars for however long that lasts. It means that every freaking day after work, I'm rushing to my kids' practice to try to help out at practice. So it's, I thought it was going to be quieting down, slowing down. And then I had 2 of my 3 kids actually make the all-star teams. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Great. Like, what does that entail, you know? Turns out it entails quite a bit. It's a lot. So, that being said, I know that for a lot of people, myself included, the YouTube algorithm has been very, very, very unkind lately. I'm going to try to get to where my videos are uploading in the mornings. And so what I'm going to do is I've actually got a video recorded already. And should have stayed home and gamed. Man, you know, honestly, it sucks. I have never had a year, because my boys always lose, right? That's just life. When it comes to baseball, the competition level in Little League is insane. So my boys lose a lot. That's reality. Baseball is a game of losing. My daughter has had so much success that when it came down to it, we were in the position like we were the #1 team. We should have come away with the win. And I felt like a failure, man. I mean, I felt like a failure, you know? Oh yeah, life has me by the balls and then some. Life has me by my balls and somebody else's, okay? Not even kidding. Hollywood's making another sequel instead of making a new IP. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even planning on talking about this tonight, but I wanted to kind of catch up on a little bit of the other news that I hadn't covered in the last few days. And I saw this thing about Spaceballs 2, and honestly, I hate this entire idea, you know? I honestly wish that they would just create something new, because look, Mel Brooks is like 100 years old now. Rick Moranis retired. Think you got bad eyes by someone? I don't know. I just when it comes to like these sequels and shit, I'm over it, man. I'm so over it. It's not even funny. So yeah, I don't know if you guys saw they're making a sequel to Spaceballs. Apparently, it's involving Josh Gad, the dude who was freaking the snowman. I can't even remember the snowman's name off of Frozen. What was it, Olaf, or was that some other character? I don't know. Some god awful, wretched, horrible, you know, movie. Eat sugar and curd. Honestly, I like curd. I haven't had a good curd in a while. We used to make like lemon and lime curd from scratch. Pretty good stuff. Before the game? Oh, interesting. Gives good luck. Well, yeah, we had to play a doubleheader. So honestly, if it had been one game, I would have felt a lot better about it. Because you lose one game, it's over. To have to play 2 and to lose both of them, that's like a double kick to the nuts, you know? Hollywood ran out of ideas a long time ago. I think, honestly, most people have figured out by now that there's nothing original in Hollywood. It's all been done before. Why does my chat box over here, why is it so far behind? Let me do this. Hang on, Control Z. Where's the freaking chat box? Is that it? Yeah, we need to extend this shit. Hang on a second. Let's put it right there, maybe. I don't know. You know, I haven't messed with my freaking stream setup in a long time. Have a sugar high before a game. Honestly, Sally, what we did was, because we had to play 2 games, one was at noon and one was at 3. We figured, okay, well, the first game's in the middle of lunchtime, so we actually got a bunch of snacks and Gatorade, and I brought out like a big tub of red licorice candy. And I'm like, okay, girls, you can have a couple pieces halfway through the game, get some sugar in you, and then, you know, they all had to eat lunch after the first game. So we tried everything we could. These girls, I swear to God, they were all like, oh, we're gonna lose, and they got so negative, and I'm like, well, you're gonna lose if you keep that attitude up. Hollywood chased so much talent away to infuse themselves with DEI. I would say that maybe to some degree Rick Moranis was a victim of that, because think about it. This man retired years ago to raise his kids, and he seems like a genuinely decent guy, like one of the few in Hollywood, you know? You think Stellar Blade could have done just as good as Wukong or Second to It if it was day 1 on PC? You're probably not wrong about that, you know? I know, don't think negative. It's not that easy. A lot of people have a hard time, especially, we're talking, these are girls that are like 9, 10, 11, you know, they're very emotional, very emotional. I mean, hell, half of coaching girls at that age isn't just about the sports itself. It's about like the mental and emotional state of the team. It's It's a lot. Not like I said, by the time I got home we were at the field on Saturday for the championship for 9 hours, from 10:30 till almost 7 o'clock at night. I get home, I wake up the next morning, it's Father's Day, and I told my wife, don't buy me anything. I bought this GPU. Please don't spend a whole lot of money. Like, my kids made me a couple cards. That was cute. And then, I didn't really get anything done. I wanted to get some stuff accomplished. I got the van washed. That's something I had to get done. Then I get home on Sunday and I'm like, I'm sore, I'm tired, I'm in a funk. Like I said, I felt like a failure because I wanted to win that game for those girls so bad, and now it's like, I don't know. Yeah, don't be negative. I love it. That's like telling a crazy person don't be crazy, or telling someone who's stressed out because of life, just don't be stressed out, Best teacher is experience. You're not wrong about that. Yeah. No, so I've been trying to decompress for the last couple of days, and I haven't had any downtime. So I haven't had any time to just kind of like let it all out. Like, my daughter, she had a couple of good cries, and I think she's over it now. I think she's good and she's moved on. Me, I'm still like, haven't gotten over it. Sports anime. Is that even a thing? That's interesting. So yeah, I guess Rick Moranis is coming back for Spaceballs 2. Apparently they're getting Bill Pullman and his son, but I thought Bill Pullman passed away. Am I crazy? Tell your kids don't worry about disappointing me on Father's Day. I'm used to it. No, honestly, Quillpig, it wasn't my kids even. It wasn't even like they did anything to disappoint me, or that I was expecting some grand. Like, look, after a certain age, it's one thing when you have a baby and then you got to do something special for your significant other with the baby. Like, oh, I'm gonna buy them a canvas with the baby's picture, or a blanket with the baby's picture on it, or something sentimental. At this age, it's like, I don't know. It's just different. Sports anime is a thing. Yeah, Quillpig. That's the other thing. It's like Rick Moranis. I hadn't heard about him until he got punched by some random black dude in the street. And that was 2024 or 2023. Some crazy shit. No, the man left his Hollywood lifestyle and all that after his wife passed away to raise all of his kids. Like, seems like a genuinely good dude, normal, like too normal for Hollywood. Watch the Medalist anime. It's a very good sports anime. I'll have to add it to my back. Dude, honestly, once my kids are all grown, maybe in like 10 years, I'll have time to do all these things, read all these books, watch all these anime, do all these things you guys keep telling me to do, So let's see here. Yeah, they had the little trailer. Oh God, Josh Gad, freaking Josh Gad being involved in this. I mean, could that Park Place have used a worse photo of this guy? This is, yeah, that's awful. Best Father's Day gift, the wife making a quilt out of old company softball team shirts. Oh, that's pretty cool. Watch it in English dubbed. No, honestly, like, it's really funny because I know a lot of people prefer like Japanese dubs to things. I discovered really early on playing Stellar Blade, and of course other games like I think First Descendant was one that I tried playing, and the English was so bad that I turned back on the Korean because the English was terrible. Who's the chubby guy? Hey Candace, this is Josh Gad, who is involved in the Spaceballs sequel. I'm gonna say Spaceballs reboot. Because come on, it's been 40 years, I think, at this point. It says, while Brooks was heavily touted in this reveal, it's important to remember he's not writing the second entry. Absent from all the recent hype has been Josh Gad, who has been confirmed to be writing and starring in the upcoming Spaceballs sequel. See, right there, that makes me not want to watch it. You bought the Stellar Blade Complete Edition. I did the same thing, and I have yet to play it. Okay? I mean, I played through the first hour and a half of the demo, uninstalled the demo after I bought the Complete Edition of the game, installed the Complete Edition of the game. I was going to stream the game on Saturday, I think after the games, but I thought I was going to be I thought I was going to come home from my daughter's softball championship being like, oh yeah, we closed them out in one game, we're done, we're the champions, go to the after party and we're good, right? Oh no. No, 9 hours later and 2 losses, and I'm like, I'm mentally unable to to do a live stream. I just couldn't do it. I was so freaking exhausted. Yeah, and that's the thing too. English dubs can be heavily politicized or censored or altered, again, just because of the localizers and stuff having their own freaking agendas and shit. You got the complete edition as well? Yeah, it sold 1 million copies on PC in 3 days. Exactly the same number as freaking Expedition 33. Have you guys heard about that game, The Alters? I know we've been talking about it on Discord. Like Mahendra, I'm sure you've seen us talking about Quillpig, all you guys that are on Discord. But that game, The Alters, I don't know how let me look this up. Hang on a second, guys. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this game. Let me find a trailer for it. Because it hasn't sold the number of copies that obviously Expedition 33 sold or that Stellar Blade has sold. But it's another one of these games coming from a studio of like 40 people that people are genuinely enjoying. And I don't know if it's going to sell like huge number of copies of the game, but people seem to be into it. I don't know. That's the official announcement trailer from 3 years ago. Where's official accolades trailer, Alters launch trailer? Here we go. It's from 11-Bit Studio. Let me pause that a second. Let me see. Play the game when you can. It's not going anywhere. No, you're right, Candace. I know you're right about that. The issue is I have so many other games I have to finish, and like, okay, with the whole All-Stars thing, because I'm helping coach my oldest boys All-Star team, that's 5 days a week of practices, 2 hours a night after I get home from work. And it's like I go straight from work to the practice. I'm not getting home till after 7 o'clock, and then I have to eat dinner. Then I have to, you know, either make a video or cover something or do research for a video. This game needs to be played by a big streamer. I had heard very little about it. Apparently, Stellar did truly cause a massive meltdown among access media. Every day I'm finding more and more and more articles about this. Let me unmute YouTube real quick. Hang on a second. Unmute. All right. So I don't think I've actually watched the trailer for this game. This is The Alters, right? This is a small studio.
I know our odds. Maybe it's time to consider the easy way out.
Give me all your love now, 'cause for all we know, we might be dead by tomorrow. I can't go on wasting my time, adding scars to my heart.
Is this a copyrighted song? Because that would blow if they're gonna get me with a copyright claim because of this stupid trailer. I'm gonna turn it down, just to be safe. You hate English songs? Do you mean songs in English or like actual English singers?
'Cause all I hear is I'm not ready now.
Yeah, that's still really loud. I'm just gonna mute it. So I guess the entire thing is about cloning. Like, I guess all these dudes are some variation of the same character. No Man's Sky meets Death Stranding. I don't know. Oh, Pragmata and Exodus. Pragmata is the one with the little girl cyborg robot thing, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that these are all variants of the same person. Any English song from video game trailers? Well, there was the whole, frickin' hell, what's that name of that band? I can't stand them. Imagine Dragons. God, I hate Imagine Dragons. Reminds you of Life is Strange. I don't know if I think Life is Strange so much with that one. But yeah, I just thought the concept looked kind of interesting. I don't know. I thought maybe it'd be something to look into. Because let me check out. I know it's a studio of like 40 people, which I find to be pretty awesome. The Alters, let me see what they have on Steam. I know that within the first day, they had already had more players for the Alters than Mindseye, which was crazy. Alters has a peak of 18,000 people? That's pretty cool. I wonder how many copies they've sold. Hang on. Let me see. Sales. Based on June 13th. Oh, it's only 35 bucks. That's pretty cool. Lugia with the 5. I like Stellar Blade. Why is the media doesn't talk about this game owned by the CCP? I would actually agree with them if they talk about that. Yeah, well, okay. You know what's really funny, Lugia? And again, thanks to the 5, buddy. Appreciate you. Something they always talk about in the media is that China is enemy number 1, right? All you hear about, hey, Empress, China's enemy number 1. So it's like, if China is truly enemy number 1, why do they not mention the amount of CCP ownership of these companies that are buying up other companies in the West? They don't ever talk about that. The media doesn't address that. Yeah, I guess I can't find the sales numbers for the game so far. Clearly, The Alters is not a game that's going to do like massive numbers, but I mean, clearly it's doing well. Imagine Dragons, my favorite band. Hell no, Cage. No, really funny because one of the girls on my daughter's all-star team, all the girls, they pick like the silly, goofy music. Like you'll have one girl that's like, oh, I want a Taylor Swift song, or I want a Sabrina Carpenter song. Then you get the girls that are like, I had this girl, the coach's daughter on my daughter's team, that was, her song, her walk-up song was Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. And I'm like, yes, okay, I can vibe with that. My daughter, she picked like the real Slim Shady. I'm like, what the hell? So there was this other girl that picked a song by this band called 1,000 Foot Crutch. I'm like, I knew I liked this girl. Like, I knew I liked her. Not much. We really didn't get started yet, Empress. Stellar Blade is Korean. Yes, but Shift Up, I believe, is being eaten up by Tencent, if I'm not mistaken, Black Cat. I saw something about them getting funding from Tencent. I could be wrong, but I think that was a recent thing I saw a couple days ago. Somebody can look it up and let me know. But yeah, this game, The Alters, that had literally like 40 people make it. Again, it doesn't necessarily look like my cup of tea as far as the game goes. It already has a higher freaking peak than Mindseye. Mindseye has got 157 people in game right now playing it. Hey, Oblivion, I didn't see you there, bud. Yeah, it has been a little while since Candace has been in here. You just love to hear the massive meltdowns among reporters in regards to Stellar Blade. Me too. I think it's fantastic. Hello to everyone else as well. I got lazy typing Cage's name. You know what's funny, Oblivion? Most of the time when I'm watching a YouTube live stream, oh, you love 1,000 Foot Crutch? Oh, I love that band. 1,000 Foot Crutch was previously a punk band known as FM Static. And then 1,000 Foot Crutch is more of a, I'd say like light metal, like alternative rock metal band. No, so, crap, what was I saying? Now it's completely gone. It's gone. China has the highest number of gamers in the world, yeah. And yet, that is true. Everyone is pretty much bought up by Tencent at this point. There's very few companies that don't have Tencent funding them, to some degree. Wait, The Alters is on Game Pass? What? No. You can't be right about that. Let me see here. You know, I haven't looked at the Cube game trailer yet. That's the one that's made by the guys that made frickin' Atomic Heart, right? Because they have 3 games coming out. They got Atomic Heart 2. You are, son of a bitch, you're not wrong. The Alters is on Game Pass. Interesting, okay. Alright. Mindseye is super duper trash though, so studio's dead, right? Oh, dude, that studio is beyond dead. There's no way. There's no way it's not dead. Let's see, I didn't hear anything new from that band, but like 10 years ago they had a pretty good album.
How much you care. It is like this tangible thing.
No, they've got new music, I'm pretty sure, or at least...
I love you. This many dollars.
I'll have to look this up now.
For me, I'm going to buy Stellar Blade used on PS5.
Hey, not a bad option. Look, honestly, dude, Lucia, thanks for the 2, man. Hang on to your money, okay? Don't spend it all in one place, man. No, I appreciate you, dude. So, when it comes to Stellar Blade, like, I bought it through Instant Gaming because I'm a cheap bastard, but I wanted to have it to stream, and then, of course, I've been too busy to stream, so I it's just sitting on my freaking computer waiting to go. That's like, oh, you're right. So the last album they had that came out was 2014. Damn, it's been a while. Resident Xbox fanboy. I'm not even like an Xbox fanboy. I used to be an Xbox fanboy. Now I'm more of just like, I value Game Pass for what it is. Oh, I should have put the fact that I'm a Game Pass partner in the stream. I'm supposed to be doing that. They gave me a free month of Game Pass, and so I'm supposed to tag them in it somehow. I'll do that on the next stream. No, they don't have new music, unfortunately. Elden Ring on Switch 2. I don't know. No, what I want is Dark Souls 3 remastered. Great score on Among Us. Among Us was just because that was my kids' go-to game for a while, so every night that they wanted to play a game with me, we'd play Among Us. I don't actually enjoy Among Us that much. And the only games I currently have installed on Game Pass are the ones you see over here, which is the funniest thing. I don't use Game Pass a whole lot, but it's like I was going to play Doom, and then I couldn't play Doom until I got my GPU. Now that I have my GPU, I'm probably never going to play Doom again. So... Oh no, but Cage, I was an Xbox fanboy. I'm saying is I can sympathize because I used to be. I really was. 1080p at 60 frames. See, but again, I'm fine with 1080p. I'm fine with 60 frames a second. I don't need like crazy high numbers. Why do I want Dark Souls 3 remastered? I don't know. Wouldn't it be nice? Is there an issue on Dark Souls 3? No, it's just the game is about 8 years old now. So wouldn't it look good with ray tracing? Come on. Trust me, I don't want them to change the game at all. And to be honest, Dark Souls 3 probably still holds up. The thing is, I haven't played it because it's on the Xbox, and the Xbox is no longer connected to the computer. The capture card is now in my son's room for his whatever he does on Mario Kart. 60 has MFG, Stellar Blade will run like a dream on it. True, but like, mine's the 9060 XT, which I think is equivalent to the 5060. So again, it's like Sleeping Dogs needs a sequel like 7 years ago. There's a lot of things that need sequels. You never played Dark Souls game before? Have you played anything Souls-like? Have you played anything in that kind of style of game? Because I know you play a lot of, like, you've been going back and playing a lot of old games, Quillpig. Do you play anything that's, like, in modern-day Souls-like type games? Because it's not something I play an awful lot of, but I've done Elden Ring. I just have to finish the DLC at some point. Played Dark Souls 3. I'm halfway through First Berserker. I'm halfway through Black Myth Wukong. There's a lot of those games I've started and haven't finished. Don't know how your reviewers will react to Dark Souls. That is something else too. That is something. I remember when I first started streaming on Twitch like 5.5 years ago, the first thing I was playing was like Apex Legends, and I played that a lot. Then I started streaming like Minecraft or whatever, and then one day I booted up Dark Souls 3 and was playing it on stream, and someone was like, ew, what is this? And it's like, it's not the usual upbeat, cheery, bright type game. Mari! She's alive, everybody. No, I know she's alive. She had a lot of stuff she was doing. She's finally back. Dark Souls 3 is fantastic. Mindseye looks amazing, actually. Enough to fool the investors. Sam Jackson, we were here on stream a couple weeks ago. We were watching the Mindseye, like, teaser gameplay trailer, right? And the funniest thing about it is they're talking about, you have all these expert skills, blah, blah, blah. You have all this training. And your stupid character is standing there in the middle of the street getting shot by all these people. It's like, how is this even expert skills and training and shit? Gaming and pop culture, no... no World War III. Well, World War III is going to happen regardless whether we talk about it or not. No, I didn't want to talk about that this stream. The worst thing we have to talk about tonight is the Ironheart show on Disney Plus that's going to be coming out on my freaking birthday, no less. On my birthday. That's what I get for a birthday present. 9060 XT will run good though. The LSS is where it's at most of the games, unfortunately. Yeah. Play a lot of Souls-like Metroidvania games. Last Faith is supposed to be a 2D version of Bloodborne, really great game. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. We'll see. Mahendra, everyone who says that World War III is far away and it's not happening, it's like, okay, sure. It's not happening until it finally happens. Oh, not just 38% review score, it's, well, 39.75 technically on Mindseye. What I find striking is when you look at the fact that there's only 1,000 reviews. And that's the crazy part. The number, like 1,800 user reviews that are positive. You compare that to, again, like we were looking at the altars, and you've got right here, 2,887 user reviews are positive. Oh, sorry, of the 2,887, 88.92% of them are positive. So again, doesn't even have 2,000 reviews. That tells me nobody even wanted to play it. So 38% of the 1,808 reviews are positive. You heard that Ironheart is using black magic. Is that true? I saved the photo. Give me a second. Let me find the tweet. I know that Master of the TDS had a thing about it. Let me see here. But yes, I'm pretty sure. All right, Mari, have a good time. Well, it's work, but have a decent time. Work is work. 20-year-old Twitch streamer crying that he guested on Kick and made. Oh, you're talking about one of those retards who I know nothing about other than his name, Lacey or Lise. He's the dude that I saw. He went somewhere with Mr. Beast and he was like, "Hey, how many of you are here for me?" And nobody said anything. Nobody raised their hands. And it's like, yeah, you're a loser. Nobody cares about you. Ironheart drag queen to be cringe. Good, too good to describe that. Yeah. Ironheart made by stealing items from museum. No, Ironheart because she reverse engineers Tony Stark's suit. But again, steals shit to make it, I guess. I don't know. Where is Master of the TDS at? Oh yeah, dude. And funny thing is, Master of the TDS catches so much shit from people who are like, "Oh, you suck. You're always investigating bots or this or that, or you don't care about this." It's like, everyone's got their thing. You don't have to like it. You could just, ignore him. If you don't like the stuff he covers, don't follow him. It's that easy. It's really not hard. It's kind of like if you follow somebody who only covers politics, but you don't like politics, don't watch him. Don't, Here we go. Apparently, this is Ironheart's final armor at the end of the show, so she's just magic now. Again, this is alleged. I don't know, but there's the screenshot. Lacey, yeah. Gothic Therapy is their channel. So on Twitter, kind of like how some of us have a Twitter username that doesn't match our channel name, that's kind of his situation. Because he and his wife run their channel together, so. But yeah, it's kind of got like the whole, I don't know if they're supposed to be like witch runes, or if that's more like Doctor Strange's kind of magic or whatever. But you go from Tony Stark, who it's all science and machinery and AI, to where you've got her and it's like freaking, what is this, magic runes and shit now that she's casting or whatever? Yeah, she's Iron Man and Doctor Strange put together. Good fantasy magic is all about rules, 100%. And the issue is that so much of fantasy is based on, well, okay, let's talk about, for example, like the whole idea of orcs and all that being, a racist trope of like black people, which is bullshit. They're orcs. They're not supposed to be black people. But the reason that they're portrayed negatively is because in all fantasy, you're going to have races that are high races, low races, common, things that are more of like the outcasts, ones that are more evil by nature, and those are orcs typically. And that's okay because those are the rules of the world that you're traveling through, the world that you're, watching a movie or playing a video game about. Those are the rules of the universe that you're playing, Voodoo Blacks, that's not racist. I mean, why is it that when they have like Princess and the Pea, the bad guys doing voodoo, right? I didn't make that. I'm not the one that chose, the blacks to do voodoo. But no, it gets even better because with this, actually, we'll just go ahead and talk about the drag queen then. We'll just go ahead and segue right into this. She's girl boss, she can do it all. Yeah. I wonder if it'd be really funny if it was voodoo though. That would be pretty hilarious. Type of black you don't mind. You know, the thing is, for me, I'm not from the South. I didn't grow up around, like, you know, lobster boils or whatever the hell they call them, and, you know, it's just moonshine and shit. That's not my thing. I'm a West Coaster. We don't have that around here, you know? For me, that's not very authentic. Hey, Tekla. Forgot that was you. Crawfish. Crawfish boil? No, it's a lobster boil. Lobster, or is it I think they call it a seafood boil, because you don't have to use crawfish. The time that I've been to one of them, they took, like, kielbasa or andouille sausage and something, either crab or lobster, and then, like, corn on the cob, and they just boiled all of it together. And potatoes, I think. I can't remember. Just a bunch of random shit. All right, from Entertainment Weekly. Now, again, I'm going to stress that this is the worst birthday present I have ever gotten in my entire life, because this dog shit show, the first 3 episodes, come out on my birthday, okay? So this is what I get for my last year in my 30s, is this show coming out on my birthday. Still don't get it? Please don't read that article, you're gonna kill me. We're just gonna look through the first little bit of it, okay? We're not gonna go through the whole article, don't worry. Drag Race's Shea Coulee, I think it's Coulee, reveals intel on Ironheart's character's secret past. A fierce hacker bringing drag to the MCU. No, not today. This comes out on the 24th. We have 8 days. You'll be seeing the diva in some looks. Shea exclusively tells EW of Slug, her Ironheart character who's on the run from a past that includes drag. Now, first off, they say her. I'm pretty sure it's probably a dude. I haven't even bothered to look it up. It says the Marvel Cinematic Universe hasn't seen anyone quite like RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars winner Shea Coulee before, and the drag entertainer, recording artist, and freshly minted star of the upcoming miniseries Ironheart knows her character is about to make a vivid impression. Let me ask a question. If it's somebody that's a man that's in drag as a woman, and it's all an act, right? So out of drag, the man, doesn't think he's actually a woman. Do you still refer to them as a her when it's just a guy who knows he's a guy that does drag performances? I'm so confused. June 24th is a Tuesday. Yeah, I'm not doing anything for my birthday. I'm just going to be working. Work and baseball practice. That's it. Having significant issues with YouTube last week. Had hella slow uploads and weird lag. Dude, I've had a ton of shit with YouTube. There was one day where the view counter was broken. So... Oh, baseball. I'm thinking a basketball player from like the 80s, Dennis Rodman. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. Typical Disney hyping stuff we don't give a crap about. Yeah. So it says, let me see here. And the funny thing is the character Slug is like a fat white guy, now being played by this man, I think, who dresses in drag as a woman, I don't know, who's going to be a fierce hacker who plays a key supporting role in the next chapter. I was talking to I mentioned this to Kata on Twitter earlier today. I'm like, why is it that when you have a black character or a black show, this is the thing where they decide to make everybody gay or trans? Like, why don't they have straight, like, normal, masculine, feminine, heterosexual people when they have black characters? Why is it that they always have to have, like, well, it's because, like, look at the trans pride flag thing, right? So with the trans pride flag, you've got the pride flag, and then you got the chevron coming in from the side with the little black and brown strips with that little intersex circle. It's like they're trying to lump black and brown people into like the whole LGBT thing, right? Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is a national treasure, man. Come on. I was told it was polite to play along and pretend it was a woman while they're dressed that way. Dude, I'm not even gonna pretend to understand drag. I don't get it. I don't understand the fascination. I don't know why people... It's like when women have that gay best friend. I don't get it. I don't understand why. I think it's weird, you know? Who's this for? I don't see where all this gayness keeps coming up in these black shows. Right. What are you barking at? Hey, come here. Come here. Come here. Get up here. Get up here. You know you're not supposed to bark. No, I don't understand either. It's like every time you have black characters, they have to cram the gay characters, the trans characters, all that weird stuff in. It doesn't make any sense. Why are you barking? Why are we barking? Oh, neighbor's home. That's why. Okay, so this person, Shay, not going to pretend if it's a man or woman. I don't know. I help a group of urban Robin Hoods. Urban Robin Hoods. Wait. We've already had the Black Robin Hood chick show. You guys remember that a couple years ago? Robin Hood, I think it was spelled with a Y, Robin Hood. That was like, that show got canceled after like the first season. I think they pulled it before it even aired all the episodes. They were urban Robin Hoods. All fake and gay, yep. Because the gay best friend is harmless. I mean, maybe. Don't ask my real opinion on that. Let's see. I help a group of urban Robin Hoods to take away from the privileged and help give back to the community. Oh yes, Marxism, redistributing wealth. There you go. Oh, it is the most anti-gooner to ever anti-goon. I'm there to help out on all the missions that go down, giggity, trying to shift this power dynamic in this version of Chicago we see in the show. Oh, it's Chicago. Now it makes total sense. Remember Disparu covering Robin Hood? Yeah. Honestly, though, I'm sure that if I had watched Robin Hood, it was probably still better than Disney Plus's Willow. Disney Plus Willow was by far the absolute worst piece of dog shit I've ever watched. Let's see, while the show's narrative and portrait of Chicago might seem clear at first, there's plenty brewing under the surface when it comes to how Ironheart fits into the overall MCU. She doesn't! She's not going to! Shay says, Slug doesn't get into much of the action-oriented spectacle. I'm more of the, I'll drive the getaway car, hang out in the van on my cute little laptop with my fierce nails, and help you hack these mainframes. She says, but also notes that the glamorous elements of Slug's aesthetic aren't just for show. From my understanding, this version of Slug they're presenting is someone who's being referred to as a code name. I don't want to give too much of their backstory away. They need an alternative code name to go by because there could or could not be some people looking for them. The drag element, she confirms, comes in the form of tiny bits of information the series slowly reveals about Slug's past. They've kind of left drag. They are a drag queen. What? This goes back to this whole... Yeah, this is so 2020, it hurts. Well, okay, Tekla, this show allegedly was done filming like 3 years ago. Okay? Ironheart should be Tony Stark's daughter. What happened to Tony? Ironheart shouldn't exist. As I recall, if I'm not making this up and completely pulling this out of my ass, I remember hearing that the Ironheart character, the original name Ironheart, was from a adult film parody of Iron Man. And then Disney actually used the name, or Marvel did under Disney, decided to use the name Ironheart to create a female Tony Stark character. I could be getting my story mixed up, but I'm pretty sure that was how it all went. But yes, it is a very 2020-esque story, okay? Because the show was delayed and postponed and had some reshoots, I guess, or whatever. The show should have come out like 2 years ago. Did YouTube eat your comments? I don't know, Cage. The problem was there was a lot of comments that all came in all at the same time. Last one I see from you says, because the gay friend is harmless. Let me scroll up. Believe it or not, there are hot chicks at gay bars. They're called... They're the besties of the gay guys. Oh, man. No, I believe it. I just don't... I can testify that I have never been to a gay bar. I've been to a dive bar in Seattle, or Seattle area, and I'm sure there was a lot of gay people there, but it wasn't a gay bar, so... And yes, you tried to work around the YouTube censors, and it still ate your comments, so... Yeah, chalk one up to YouTube. YouTube score 1, Cage 0. Cage just joined Discord? I thought Cage was already on Discord. Why did I think you were already in there? Let me see. Hang on a second. I don't see him in here. I thought he was already on there. The one they filmed and they pulled, or was that Wakanda Forever? During the height of garbage MCU. The actress is now like 7 years older now. Yeah. Is Seattle just one big gay bar? Basically at this point, yeah, it pretty much is. And all the people are weird, fruity freaks. They're all brain dead, strange, like degenerates and stuff. Honestly, Seattle sucks. I'm not even going to try to like mince words about it. Anytime I have to go to Seattle, like, for example, if I'm going to a Mariners game or if there's a concert up there we're going to, I pay to park. I pay whatever parking structure I can possibly, afford. And I go in to the venue and then I leave and I go back to my safe little area that I live in. I hate Seattle. Seattle is a bunch of freaks. Freaks and criminals. That's about it. Honestly, it used to be pretty fun to go to like downtown to like the Pike Place Market and watch them toss the salmon and stuff and do some shopping. I mean, hell, we got the first Starbucks that ever existed downtown. There's a lot of cool like old parts of Seattle that are fun to visit. Not anymore. I wouldn't do it on a dare. Never again. That's what happens when you bet on a total culture shift over some dead junkie. Facts, man. No, it's not. I wouldn't say it's mostly GTA because the people aren't that interesting, At least in like a GTA game, you have like high-speed chases and shootouts and stuff. Seattle is just more like druggies and weirdos is all it is. Okay, so they've kind of left drag. They are a drag queen, but it's kind of a past life. You see them in drag, but it's kind of in the context of flashbacks before where they are now because they're trying to be on the low. I gotta find this interview. This would be fantastic to watch and either react to or make a short. Like, because where they are now, because they're trying to be on the low. On the contrary, Shay is happy that the MCU welcomed her and Slug as unabashedly queer people. This is like the most disturbing outfit I have ever seen, guys. Okay. I don't understand this. This is like, you remember Val Kilmer when he would play Batman in the Batman and Robin movie and his bat suit had nipples on it? This is worse. This is way worse. GTA and PC are mostly crazy. Yeah. Yeah, but they're fun. They're interesting. Florida's probably the inspiration. Oh my god. Alright, I think that's enough from Shay. Finding ways to exist in a way that felt truly authentically me and also to the character was really cool. I again, being authentically queer in drag. Like, okay, great, that's awesome. Another fun story, apparently, Borderlands isn't $80 after all, but it's still $70. You guys see this one? Has Marvel's first Transformer character. Yeah, unironically a Transformer. That's the funniest part. Trying 100% Savage Planet tonight, and this is getting gross. Yeah, things kind of get icky once in a while, unfortunately. That's because life is icky, man. His batsuit's nothing compared to that. True, but still. Still. Alright, so apparently after Randy Pitchford from Gearbox got into this whole public spat about the whole, oh, well, you should be okay to pay $80 for my game if you're a real gamer, if you're a real fan, you'll spend $80 on it. Hell, I had to work 5 jobs a week while going to school barefoot when I was a kid to pay for video games. You can pay for $80 for a game, right? Oh yeah, no, I saw Borderlands 4 is using Denuvo. And another DRM. Yeah, I saw that. Actually, I have a video recorded, ready to go. I'm going to get it uploaded for tomorrow morning as soon as I get done with the stream. All I got to do is make a thumbnail and it's good to go. So we have a video done for tomorrow. So maybe we'll get back on track at some point. Wait, the drag queen's a different character than the Transformer? Are you freaking kidding me, Cage? Are you serious? So they straight up went like Last of Us Part 2 with Ironheart. It's not just redistributing wealth and the girl boss minority Iron Man who's better than Iron Man ever was, but they also have a drag queen and a Transformer. Fantastic. All right. Looks trans. Yeah. Let me see here. Borderlands 4 pre-orders are now open, confirming once and for all how much Gearbox upcoming looter shooter costs. Are any of you guys going to play Borderlands 4? I didn't play any of the Borderlands games. I don't find them to be interesting looking. I don't understand like the concept or the aesthetic behind them. Doesn't mean they're not good games. I just personally have no desire, Borderlands 4 doesn't have any fans. Right, because everyone hated Borderlands 3's story, right? So who's going to care about the 4th game? So it says doesn't cost $80 ahead of the release on PC, PS5, and Xbox. Publisher 2K has confirmed that the standard edition of the game will only be $70, coming in $10 shy of the price tag everyone had begun to dread. That's not to say you can't spend more on the game with the deluxe edition, which includes 4 post-launch DLC packs. Here's the thing, guys. So I'll try to find the tweet because I actually used it in my video. There's the $70 version of the game. There's the $100 version of the game. Then there's the super deluxe edition of the game for $130, and that has like DLC, future DLC, and skins and stuff. There's a $150 collector's edition that doesn't even include a copy of the game. It is just merch. That's it. Just merchandise, no game at all. And of course, like games like Outer Worlds and stuff, just like Borderlands, I'm pretty sure is going to have just like, you know, digital game in box only. Like you buy the box, you get digital codes, and that's it. Borderlands lost me at 2. I don't know. I never played them. For me, this is back when I was way more like fussy about my art style in games. Now I would play any game regardless of the art style, but I was pretty much a tight ass about the art style of games at the time, so I didn't find them to they didn't look interesting to me. Oh yeah, Matt Adam, $150 for the deluxe, or sorry, the collector's edition of the game, as they called it. They had to change the name of the edition because apparently it was the collector's edition minus the game. 70 is still too high. Thank you, Sally. So I said this in my video, and I'm going to stand by this. Games should not be $80. They should not be $70. A top-of-the-line, polished, ready to go, no patch required to fix it, non-buggy, non-broken mess of a AAA game should be $60, no more, at launch. $50 is better, but $60 is the max. The max price for a game that's like a AA game, same kind of quality, $40. Should not be more than that. And all indie games should be cheaper than that. You know? Yeah, you see 70s base for poor people, not real fans. What a joke. Exactly. Cult Classic Cage. How's it going, Cass? What's up is we were just making fun of freaking Ironheart. We should just call it Iron Shart at this point. Show's gonna be a complete piece of shit. Yeah, no, I think honestly, pricing as far as that goes, no game should cost more than $60. There's no excuse for it. There's no reason for it. Let's see. I was interested in one, then I tried it. Couldn't even bother with the first level. Bothered my eyes, and I didn't find the story compelling. See, that's what I worry about. That's what I honest to God worry about with games like that. Like, for me, personally, if the art style doesn't, like, speak to me or whatever. And I'll admit, I've been wrong about games. So, for example, Sea of Thieves was one of those games back in the day that I was a tight ass about. I'm like, oh, Sea of Thieves, it's all goofy-looking animation. I couldn't possibly enjoy that game. My buddies told me to download it. I downloaded it. We went out on the ocean, and we had a freaking blast, right? It was the fun, like, best time ever. Now, I didn't continue playing the game because I'm not going to play it by myself. But the game is fantastic, regardless of the art style. Let's see, BL3 dirt cheap and bought some edition, had DLCs, no game. So many editions you don't know what you have and then don't. Yeah. Well, that goes back to like the Nintendo Switch 2 situation, where you get some grandparent who wants to buy their kid a game for the Switch 2. They're not going to know if their grandkid needs like the upgrade of the original Switch version. Like they're not going to... They make it so freaking confusing for people. Like, no one's going to know what the hell they're supposed to buy, right? It's so freaking retarded at this point. Let's see. So, let's face it, though. We've been faced with pricey deluxe editions of games for years. It's the standard price that everyone was most interested in, thanks to Pitchford's now infamous real fans comment. Yeah, but I've seen so many articles. Like, there's one from Kotaku basically defending this, going, oh, see, it was no drama at all, right? Chilling at work, Gearbox hasn't released a good game since Borderlands 2. See, Cass, I've talked about this before on some of my live streams and videos. Like, I was never a fan or like a loyal fan of anybody's, like any one developer. Sure, back in the day, like Bungie, right? Back when freaking Bungie was making Halo, sure, I would have been like a Bungie fanboy. But the only Bungie games I played were Halo 1, 2, 3, and, you know, Reach and ODST. I didn't know Bungie aside from them, and to be honest, I don't think Bungie made anything other than Halo before they switched to Destiny. So there were a few studios or companies that I probably would have like sworn my allegiance to back in the day. Other than that, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to who makes what games. At least I didn't used to up until the last year or two. So for me, I don't have any like these fond memories like, oh, Obsidian used to be so great, or BioWare used to be so great, or it's like I couldn't have told you back then who made what game I was playing. You know, I was happy and lucky if I could actually afford to play and buy a video game as it was. I loved Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube. I couldn't tell you who developed it and who published it. I think maybe Capcom. I don't know. Like, I have no idea. I used to Naughty Dogs. Now I don't trust any game studio. Well, you can. I think there are some that are earning people's trust, like Shift Up, right? Well, yeah, Bungie made Marathon in the 90s, but I didn't play Marathon. Didn't have a Macintosh, so I would have had no way to play it. Squaresoft and Blizzard way back when EA made the Bond games. I don't know. And yes, people get replaced. That is honestly the biggest problem with it. So that's where you're into situations like this with this game Mindseye. And everyone's like, oh my god, it's made by former Rockstar executives. Like, oh, that means it's going to be amazing, right? Worst rated game of 2025. And that's saying something, because we were already talking about the fact that when you look at the Steam charts, nobody's even playing this game. It's got less than 200 people playing it on Steam as of right now. The game never broke 3,000 concurrent players, like 3,100 players on Steam when it first launched, okay? Let's see, so from Insider Gaming, Mindseye's been suffering immeasurably since being released on June 10th. It's only been, what, how many days is that? 6 days ago? 6 days ago it launched, and it's already down to like less than 200 players. That is insane. Most people are born around the 90s? What? Oh, do you mean most people who are currently like the consumers of video games? That would probably make sense. Yeah, so it says third-person GTA competitor is the debut title of Build a Rocket Boy, a new studio. First off, the stupidest name for a studio I've ever heard in my life. I think Build a Rocket Boy sounds like ass, okay? New studio headed by former Rockstar legend Leslie Benzies. The game has plummeted in the rankings due to its being wildly buggy and inherently flawed. Now that the game has managed to receive some reviews from popular outlets, it has been aggregated on Metacritic, and the score reflects the quality of this title. At the time of writing, Mindseye had a Metascore of just 43, making it the worst rated game to emerge in more than a year. So they're talking about the actual critic score, not even like the fan score. Main character makes me not care because he looks goofy. Yeah, the whole Mindseye thing, I don't know what the hell they were going for. The main character sucks. He looks terrible. No one heard about it before it launched Oblivion because they didn't spend any money on advertising. They didn't give out review copies. They didn't want people playing it before it launched. So I don't know how they thought it was going to make any money. You're not giving out review copies. We had like nothing to work off of as far as like actual gameplay footage. So it's, I mean, they basically, they hung themselves before they even got going. Callisto Protocol has the same problem as Mindseye today. It was made by the creator of the Death Space and GTA game. Death Space, what was that one? I can't remember that one. Let's see, Mindseye has dominated trends on social media in recent days, but only because users are sharing clips of bugs and bizarre AI. Although some of the clips of the bugs are pretty funny. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's some pretty funny shit in there. As the debut title for Build a Rocket Boy, Mindseye stands to threaten the future of the studio, and the review aggregation is a clear reflection of that. Mindseye has managed to secure a critic score of 43. User score sits at a paltry 2.4 out of 10. Okay, this is the critic score. Critics somehow still managed to give it almost twice the score of the users. Isn't that shocking? Oh, Dead Space, okay. New studio name sounds like ass. Yeah. I mean, that's just the reality. That's the world we're living in. Everything sucks, right? Everything's bad. And they want to go, why are you always so negative? Why do you people hate so much stuff? Maybe stop making retarded shit. I mean, there's the easiest option. Stop making retarded stuff. Hey, Susano. Yeah, I still gotta finish Dead Space. I think I was like halfway through the remake. Callisto Protocol game studio was shut down. Well, that's because Callisto Protocol didn't sell. Nobody wanted it. I mean, it was basically, I'm not gonna say the spiritual successor of Dead Space, because I don't think the same people worked on Callisto Protocol that made Dead Space, but it was basically like, it was billed as a Dead Space competitor, right? And it just didn't do it as good. You felt bad hyping it up? First time in years I had to make retractions. You know what, dude? We all get stuff wrong at times. And there have been plenty of games that I thought legitimately looked good, and I've had to reconsider my thoughts on them, or vice versa. I mean, look, I'm super freaking hyped for Mortal Shell 2. If Mortal Shell 2 comes out and it's ass, I'm going to be honest about it. I just really hope it's good, because I really love the first game. Let me see here. To put that score into perspective, the last game to score that low was Quantum Error, a terrible title from Team Kill Media released in November 2023. Picked up a Metascore of 40 and was slated by users everywhere. In May 2023, here's the best one. You have Callisto Protocol, but never played it. If I had a copy, I probably wouldn't play it. In May 2023, Daedalic Entertainment released The Lord of the Rings Gollum, one of the worst rated games we have ever seen. Honestly, at this point now, I kind of want to pick up a copy of Gollum and play it just to see how bad it truly was. Let's see, it became a laughingstock of a title at launch and caused the studio to reconsider its future in the development space after a Metascore of just 33 was produced. Yeah. So we're talking, this game is competing on levels of freaking Gollum, okay? First off, a game that didn't have a reason to exist in the first place and then was complete and total ass, right? I was in a live chat watching Boston's LGBT parade with school kids and someone was asking why chat is so negative. Oh, dude, Tekla, it's the best thing ever. So they did those No Kings protests over here, right? Now I live in an area that's, for being Washington, for being a liberal state, I live in an area that's pretty purple. You have liberals, but they're very, like, they have money, they like their stuff. They pretend to like black people, but they're probably pretty racist. But they're generally like not crazy left-wing lunatics. They're just all over the place politically. Like I'd say I live in an area where you still have like what you would call 90s Democrats, like normal liberal people, not a bunch of extremists. They did one of these No Kings protests in my city, and only like 50 people showed up for it. And the funniest part about it was that like on Facebook, because there's like Facebook town pages for like these cities and shit, people locked the comments on all these things like, good job out there today, guys, I'm so happy with the response, and people were just laughing, mocking them, and it's like, yeah, nobody buys into this shit anymore, guys. We're all over it, New quality levels: gray, good, mesh, bad, worse, ass. Yeah. Callisto Protocol is made by an ex-Dead Space dev. Unfortunately, the game came out in rough shape but had good shit to it. I mean, didn't they go and get like freaking am I crazy? Didn't they get Carl Urban to be the main character in that game? GTA 6 will LGBTV plus parade. Oh, you were talking about like having the Pride parades in them. Yeah, I don't know if the Pride parade thing has been confirmed yet or not. Probably a decent game to come back to. See, having no experience playing it, I couldn't even come back to it because then I don't know what it was in the first place. 7 shouldn't be a bad score. Here's the thing about a 7. We've all seen this before. A 7 might mean anything. A 7 for IGN, you have no idea. It could be a 10 or it could be a 2, right? So I take a lot of things into consideration when I'm looking at like review scores of games, because a lot of it's down to the individual person doing the review. And I know that a lot of accounts like Grums and the big accounts on Twitter will be like, IGN gave this a 10 and this a 6. And while it is a reflection of the studio or the media organization and possibly their relationship with certain studios, you also have to take into consideration the fact that there are different journalists writing the reviews based on their own personal taste. So yeah, IGN giving everything a 7 looks bad, but a lot of times there are different journalists writing different reviews. So that's part of why the disparity in scores. Not trying to let them off the hook, but that kind of is what it is, as long as they can drive a car through it. See, everyone's going to be doing the same thing, and that's going to be the biggest outrage in the media is, oh my god, they have to stop these people from killing LGBT people in games. PC Gamer has zero taste. Dude, I found one worse than PC Gamer. Just wait, okay? So David, when I was looking around here, getting ready for the stream, I got this stream ready in about 5 minutes, okay? I told the kids, you're out of the living room at 8:30. I then spent the next 10 minutes sticking my Stellara into my stomach, which was fun because I was supposed to do that yesterday and I forgot, so I did that right before the stream. Getting a thumbnail made for the stream, getting a few things pulled up, recording a video, editing the video, getting it ready to upload, and then getting the stream set up, all by like 9:30 something. So in the process of that, I was grabbing a couple quick articles to go off of for the stream, and I found one that's even better than the PC Gamer review of Stellar Blade, okay? Blades of Fire is a cool game. Got a 5 from IGN, Dustborn got a 7. Right, but again, IGN sucks, we all know that. And they hire a bunch of lunatics, but I'm just saying, you just still have to take into consideration the fact that you have different people there who are going to be basing it off their own personal taste. For example, they gave Dragon Age Velguard to Lena Headley. Who's Lena Headley? Lena Headley is a man who thinks he's a woman. So he's going to give the game that has surgery scar representation a higher score because he feels included. Oh yeah, everyone knows PC gamers crap. That's just reality. Well, yeah, and Oblivion, you're right. A lot of times they'll give the reviewer themselves won't like the style or the genre of the game that they're playing. That does happen a lot too. So, talking about Stellar Blade, we were looking at review scores, okay? Almost 25,000 reviews on Steam for Stellar Blade. 94.36% of those are positive. Clearly the game is running great on PC. Clearly everybody's loving it. When I played the demo before I put my new GPU in, the game ran just fine. So the game functions very well on minimal required stats. I'm surprised the game didn't hit a higher peak, but we know that the game has already had 1 million sales on PC in 3 days. Cassie, thanks for giving me that info earlier. I saw a few people share that on Twitter. I'm like, okay, 3 million sales. Is that just PC, or are we talking PS5's 2 million plus 1 million for PC? Hey, that's still an impressive number, okay? Especially given the fact that they sold 1 million copies on PC in 3 days. That's an incredible number. But I think a lot of people are misconstruing it as 3 million copies sold just since it launched on PC. And unfortunately, some people miss context, but still impressive numbers. I was actually anticipating it was going to hit like 250,000 players concurrently. Didn't happen yet, but we'll see. Only reason you didn't get it was the price. Oh, you're talking about Blades of Fire, I think the name of that game was that you were just talking about. Great port, great game. Hits 1 million on PC and 2 on PS. Yeah, and it hit 2 million on PlayStation 5 in less than a year's time. Now, granted, there are games that we've seen crush those numbers. Frickin' Monster Hunter Wilds, didn't it get like 11 frickin' million or some shit like that? It was insane the number that game got. YTA for the ponies, so Stellar Blade's doing great. Oh, yeah. Dude, honestly, I don't know. And the funny thing is, I didn't pull up any articles about it, but I don't know if you guys saw, there's a Final Fantasy game that released on Xbox, I want to say like a week ago. And apparently the Xbox fans were begging for it. They wanted it. And it sold like 22,000 copies on Xbox since it launched. And it's like, I don't understand like defending one console over another. I like I said before, I look at all the subscription services and look at Game Pass and go, there have been times I thought Game Pass sucked, and right now I think Game Pass is going really strong. That doesn't mean I don't think that Game Pass is good in the future. I think right now Game Pass is in a good place with the games that recently had come out on it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to defend it in the future, you know? Hack and slash games don't do well these days with sales, so nice to see Stellar Blade break through that limitation. That's true. That is true. I mean, especially given the fact that although I think the price tag helps, I think the fact that it wasn't a $70 or $80 game at launch definitely helps. 60% of players are from China, 5% from the US. But Mahendra, I don't really think it really matters where the players are. If you're selling a product and you know that it's a global market out there and you're appealing to the biggest possible audience that you can, I mean, Patriot, how you doing, buddy? It's at 1 million sales on Steam per GameStop, right? And obviously it's not done. Obviously they're probably going to hit 2 million sales probably within the next month. Who knows, right? As far as those numbers for Final Fantasy 16, that's based on reviews, not any official data. Okay. All right. Yeah, Susano, I didn't really look into that. I saw somebody talking about it, but I found it very interesting. But yeah. Noise being passed around that is verified as noise. Yeah, a lot of times that's kind of how things will go. It'll start as like, oh my god, the biggest story ever, and then it's like, nah, it's all crap. I mean, hell, I had to community note Grums the other day, and unfortunately nobody even freaking upvoted the note enough to make it visible. Freaking jackass was like, oh, the art director for Marathon got fired. I'm like, no, he didn't. Like, what are you smoking, dude? Never even corrected it. I know he saw the community note. He didn't delete the tweet. He just left it there. I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. It's almost 1 a.m. there. That's not quite morning. Hey, Geek. How you doing, buddy? It's priced at $40 for China. Why is it cheaper in China? That's not fair. I'm going to move to China. Shift Up should release the game on PC day one. Well, it sounds like they're done with exclusivity. I guarantee for the sequel, they probably will not do that. I think it had to do with funding, if I'm not mistaken, guys. I think, again, we've seen this before, where they'll do exclusivity with like Sony and stuff to get their game funded. And I know for a fact, like, look at Marek Tymiński over with CI Games, the Lords of the Fallen dev. They actually have said that they're going to release their game exclusively on Epic, their follow-up to Lords of the Fallen, because Epic is like funding the game. You know, it's kind of this, you scratched our back, now we have to scratch yours. And I think that's a retarded approach. I cannot believe that they're making it an Epic exclusive, because I know most people I know who play games on PC, they avoid Epic like the plague. Like, I use Epic I log into it every 3 or 4 days and grab a free game, and that's it. You know, I don't play any games through Epic that I have. I've got a shit ton of games on Epic that I never even play. Oh, you bought Metaphor. Metaphor is actually on Game Pass right now too. I thought about maybe downloading that and taking a look, and then I realized, wait a second, I have no life. I have no time for games. Not dismissing any issues with their sales, just saying reporting wasn't correct. Oh yeah, no, Susano, I hear ya. I honestly appreciate anybody that's gonna be like, yo, so here's the full context, you know? Because so many times these retarded stories get shared around and nobody even ever tries to correct their story. I think Atreus, in his video, I think he recorded one talking about this whole marathon thing. I'm like, dude, not the same guy. If you put your game on Epic, you know your game can't stand on its own feet. Well, that's part of the problem, is the CI Games has not actually made any money on Lords of the Fallen yet. That is a fact. Marek Tymiński came out and said it. So because of that, they are relying on Epic to help their next game be, you know, I don't know if solvent is the right word I'm looking for or whatnot. They're trying to make sure that they have enough money going into releasing the game that they're not going to like eat their shirt on it, right? So I can understand it. I don't like the decision. I can't imagine that that's something I would ever want to do. Especially given the fact that like I said, I know gamers, a lot of people who play on PC, and it's not something that people prefer. Where's your fancy number? You gotta be at least in the top 50. Patriot, I don't control it. This isn't like Twitch where you can allocate points and stuff. It's one of those situations where it's based on some weird metric that YouTube uses to try to encourage people to chat. Hey, if I had the ability, I would make you number one every single stream, but I can't. I could turn the whole thing off. Like, nobody even has to even look at it. Yeah, CI Games and Hexwork were both operating at a loss at the time of the release of the last game they put out. Unfortunately, a lot of studios are like that, I believe. Hell, what was it? The dude from Ubisoft said that 10% of AAA games actually make a profit, which means 90% of them don't. That's the craziest shit. Epic is NFT hellhole, just wasteland anyway. I'll buy all my games on Instant Gaming best deals. Dude, yeah, Mad Adam. That 100%. Like, I have no shame. If I can save a buck, why the hell would I not? You know? No, NS isn't even number one. It's based on chat interactivity. I don't think that they do a good job factoring in actual like donations, super chats. Like Lugia has donated like $7 tonight. He should be number one. But you know, it's based on interactions, I guess. I don't know. I think that they need to redo however they tabulate the points, but that's a whole nother topic. Some people even hate it. I think Susano has it turned off, if I'm not mistaken. So here's a good one. From The Gamer, I know we have this PC Gamer article where they gave Stellar Blade a 68 out of 100. Not my favorite rendition of sexy souped-up soldier saving humankind, but this one looks even better, okay? It took Stellar Blade just 72 hours to sell 1 million copies on PC, and we all know why. Now, I haven't even like previewed this article. I haven't read it, but I can imagine it's going to be everything that we already expect, if you know, based on journalists being who they are. Well, you're number one in my heart, Lugia, but unfortunately, YouTube says otherwise. Oh yes, The Gamer. Dude, I remember last year when I was first starting getting my channel going, anytime that there was like a dead day in the media or in the news cycle, and I'm like, well, I want to find something interesting to talk about, and I just didn't see much out there, I would just go to The Gamer and be like, oh, here we go. The Gamer says something retarded. New video, everybody. Pretty much without fail, you can always rely on that. You can see the game journal tears flow. Yeah. If it wasn't abundantly clear already, Stellar Blade has been nothing short of a success since its launch on PC last week. But now, thanks to a post on a South Korean website, we know how many copies Shift Up's title has been able to sell. As first spotted by Insider Gaming. Insider Gaming, by the way, for all the websites that exist, Insider Gaming doesn't suck. Like, as far as like news sites go, if we were to look at them as like a mainstream news site, I don't know who owns them. They don't totally suck, you know? Says a post on South Korean site RuliWeb has revealed that Stellar Blade's PC port managed to sell 1 million copies in just 72 hours. It took PlayStation 5 version of the game roughly 2 months to reach the same number of sales. What did I say, Cage? Did I say something funny? In all, the game has managed to sell 3 million units with a budget of estimates at around 30 to 50 million. It's clear the studio has made its money back and then some. Of course, there's definitely a key reason why Stellar Blade has been a massive success on PC compared to PlayStation, and it has nothing to do with the game's combat. Oh, man. Article written by Johnny Flores Jr. He must be a pussy. I think Johnny Flores Jr. has actually done some of the recent articles that people have been making fun of. Let me see. What's his recent... Oh, my God. That is a terrible picture. Let me see. No, I guess not. Seems like pretty normal game review stuff. Game articles, that is. Why is it the game journals always go after male gaze? For some reason, they don't go after OF. Dude, okay, I was watching... You guys actually know, I almost pulled a Goodfellas scene. Dude, do you guys remember the show from like the early... What was it, late 90s, early 2000s? Just Shoot Me, the David Spade show. Really funny show. Like, as far as sitcoms go back in the day, Just Shoot Me was pretty funny. And they work at a fashion magazine, and so it's all like the photographer sleeping with all the models, and it's all like, you know, the boss's daughter complaining about all these like half-naked women and the male gaze and stuff, and the guys are like, you know, yeah, so what, whatever. And like the second season, there's an episode where the old model gal who works there as the editor, she goes on like some NPR show to argue about like why modeling is not bad for women. And she has like some hardcore feminist saying how harmful it is to women, that, you know, modeling gives like a bad sense of self and it's destructive to a girl's, you know, God, like self-confidence and shit. And I'm thinking to myself like, okay, where are those feminists nowadays saying that shit about like the OnlyFans thoughts, right? Where are those people trying to get people to be less, let's say, promiscuous online and all that? They don't exist nowadays. Like, those feminists are gone because the whole female empowerment thing, like, feminism is on some weird shit now, you know? So he's insulting all PC gamers in the world? Right. What about the music, the progression, level design, story? If they say that, then I'll say that BG3 only succeeded among media type because of bear sex. I mean, Tekla, you're not wrong. I think that's the reason that they always go back to being like, yeah, those feminists are sleeping. Clearly those ones have, you know, fallen asleep. I don't know. So I guess this guy doesn't seem too unhinged, at least not in the last 4 days. But it says here, let me see. Stellar Blade mod scene has been hard at work. Within a day of its launch on PC, the game's Nexus mods page has been over. Oh, you guys saw Nexus mods got sold? Some other company bought them. I was going to try to look into that, but I just didn't have time. Some people are saying that it's not any better than the company that already owned Nexus mods, so like don't get excited about them not, you know, banning people anymore. Oh, if it's empowering women, okay. This is my problem, right? Forget about like, you know, people's own takes on morality and modesty and all that kind of stuff. Shelve all that for a second. The issue I have with the entire concept is the male gaze bad or is it not? Like, if it is, then women shouldn't do it, because then again, you're trying to sell that to men who are the primary consumers of the content, but then you're trying to tell men they shouldn't be looking at it. Like, which one is it? This is like, feminism can't even define itself anymore, and that's like my biggest issue with the entire thing. Nexus mod, it's cooked. They're already banning users. Yeah. Oh, they'll get worse now? See, like I said, I didn't look into the new company that was taking them over. So, within a day of its launch on PC, Nexus Mods page was overrun by some NSFW additions. So much so that outbeat Nier Automata in the number of mods and downloads on its first day. Of course, one of the most popular mods is one with Eve with no clothes on, but it's on the adult-only mod page. Presence of mods, particularly of the NSFW variety, led Stellar Blade to quickly become the most played PlayStation port on PC. These guys would never have survived back in the day. I remember I had this little disc that you put into your GameCube, and it had like cheat codes and stuff. But there was one that it just makes everything in Blood Rain. That game, Blood Rain, was fantastic. Like, massively underrated game. It makes everything in the game jiggle, like 10 times more than it should, right? And it was like the silliest looking mod. At the time, I thought it was pretty cool. But it's like, they would have freaked out about that kind of shit back then. Even ahead of its launch, its PC demo was outperforming some big time releases, and it didn't take gamers all too long to start developing NSFW mods. Don't care. People can mod games however the hell they want to. If there's one good thing to come from the massive raunchiness and success of Stellar Blade, it's the fact that Sony has begun removing region restrictions. Okay, so this guy at least isn't super unhinged. He does have to point out that it's always the mods and it's always the gooners, but like, hey, at least he's not going straight after him. That's pretty tame for an article from The Gamer, not gonna lie. Let me see here. Stellar Blade, this is PC Gamer here now. Stellar Blade's opening hours are so mired by atrocious level design that I can only assume people are willingly plowing through for the sake of seeing protagonist Eve's bum jiggle around in a skin-tight suit for a bit longer. Can you imagine that PC Gamer has a worse article than The Gamer? Like, what kind of world are we living in, man? I'm playing Vampire Bloodlines and there's panties everywhere. Hey man, it's vampire games. It kind of goes with the territory. That's just the name of the game, you know? Yeah. Blood and violence are fine, but boobs, nope. Look, here's the thing. I've said this before and I'll say it again. When it comes to movies, when it comes to video games, no, I don't want a bunch of like raunchy sex and nudity all mixed into my media. Not something I enjoy as far as like for every day I'm playing a game, I'm watching a movie, there's action, like hot chicks, cool. You know, I couldn't care less. Do I want it to be full blown like P and the V kind of stuff? No, I don't. But these people that freak out over like fan service because there was an argument going on Twitter the other day. I think Nuria was part of it. That girl, she pisses everybody off with some of her takes, and I like 100% disagreed with her on this one because she's like, oh, you know, basically Stellar Blade is equivalent to like an adult film, and I'm like, no, it's not, because one is actual pornography and one's not. Well, but the character's created to do the same thing. I'm like, but there's a difference between a character being attractive and seductive and alluring and like teasing the imagination and straight on actually getting it on. Like, they're not the same thing, right? It used to be okay to make characters in movies and video games that were seductive, that were sensual, all these things, without it being straight up full-blown X-rated in your face. There's just a big difference, right? Yeah, anime is all about fan service, and that's why anime is more popular than modern cartoons. That's why manga is more popular than comic books, you know? Not that anyone's taking this seriously, but why do they go down this road with it? Do they have some kind of complex this is triggering? I don't know. These are the same people who are fine, like we said earlier, with the bear sex in Baldur's Gate 3. So I don't, I don't even understand. Read a romance novel or even common female magazines. Somebody pointed this out, that the shit that you get in a lot of like female fantasy oriented stuff is far worse than even things that you have in male oriented well, technically, the thing is, she was saying that she doesn't care, that it doesn't bother her. She's fine with it being gooner content, as she called it. My point is, you can't compare one of these to the other, because I'm from a generation where we had Baywatch. Baywatch is not the same thing as Debbie Does Dallas. You know, it just wasn't. They were two different sides of the same coin. They were both done for sexual objectification, but one was tame by comparison to the other, you know? They're just not the same thing. They should read Berserk once in their life. No, that would probably melt their brains. That would probably like cause them to short circuit. So do I blame them? Not necessarily, but it's a mighty tough beginning to get through before things start getting good. And they do eventually, though even after 30 hours, I still couldn't shake the feeling that I was trying a little too hard to be Nier Automata on horny steroids. Look, here's the thing. There's a fair argument to be made when a game is created just to be, you know, for lack of a better word, gooner bait. Again, I know the term gets thrown around too loosely, and I hate that, but there are certainly games that get labeled that for more or less for good reasons, right? I hate that this always boils down to the character's too attractive, the butt is too nice, there's too much jiggle, so clearly this game is not good, it's just made for horny people. I'm like, if that's your entire argument, maybe go play Dragon Age Veilguard. I don't know. It's a little distracting design in my opinion. I like 2B better. Well, but the thing is, Tekla, like, you don't have to have the camera like doing the POV upskirt the entire time. You could just have the camera behind her. Look, when I was playing Stellar Blade, the demo, a couple days ago, before I bought the game, I wasn't even looking at her butt. I'm looking at the enemies ahead of her, trying to avoid getting hit. You know, sure, you can pause the game, or you can go into a safe little area and try to get the camera as jammed up there as far as you want. You could think that you're OBGYN or whatever, but at the end of the day, you have to intentionally do this. This goes back to the entire Melanie Mac argument about First Descendant being, you know, porn, because somebody decided to, you know, lower the camera and have it fixed on a character who's dancing's butt while it's jiggling. The person made the deliberate choice to do that. It's not the fault of the game that the person decided to go there, you know? We've always had cameras in games. We've always had hot characters in games. You could do that with any character in any game forever, as long as you had a 3D camera, you know? After all, its running plot is almost identical. The end of the Earth as we know it, now populated by monstrous alien life forms. So I need to play Nier Automata is what this article's telling me. Common sense left the room a long time ago, right, Matt Adam? 100%. Scantily clad woman fighting to reclaim the planet, save humanity. But he says it like there's something wrong with that, you know? Save humanity alongside a drone companion, soundtracked by eerie female vocals that almost stand parallel to the horrors of the world. Let's do a comparison, Mahendra. So, the Soul Calibur series. Soul Calibur games were fantastic arcade-style fighting games. Really, really good. The combos, if you could pull off some of those combos, you were like god level because they were crazy, crazy good god level like moves. The characters had an unnecessary amount of jiggle. Some of the characters were like Ivy she was wearing like straight up bondage wear. Who cares? Like legitimately, who cares? Didn't bother me then when I was a teenager playing it. I don't care if someone wants to play it now, you know? Oh my god, Cage. Dude. No. She's like a 40-year-old pretending to be a 25-year-old, man. You could do so much better. I'm sorry. Wait, they had actual Gooner games on there? I didn't know that, Susano. Oh, man. The industry analysis out there going over the numbers of sales between Steam, Epic, and that site I'm not naming outright. They were doing more volume. That's crazy. Look how they call Stellar Blade a Gooner game, yet we already forgot AC Shadows and how Ibuki grabbed Yasuke's balls. I didn't forget. I just tried to block it out of my memory. I don't want to remember that anymore, man. Imagine if games had the insane jiggle physics for the gay gays. No, Patriot, they do. You have to play Marvel Rivals. I believe Marvel Rivals, because the guys are all caked up also. I think that was the one that the characters' butts also jiggle for the guys. Let me see here. Now listen, I've been in these trenches before. I've been playing Shift Up's other title, Nikia got us a victory since 2023. I'm not new to the developer's particular brand of goonery. If you are new to it, however, Stellar Blade has ass shots, jiggle physics, and barely their outfits out the wazoo. Who cares? Does the world or its characters ever acknowledge this fact? Bar one Backstreet Merchant, no. It's a bizarre juxtaposition in a game that so heavily sexualizes the undeniably glamorous Eve, despite being a wholly sexless personality existing in a sexless universe. In fact, Eve has very little personality at all. The same is true of support. Okay, now again, you can make an argument about personality and character development. I'm all ears, because again, I know that I have a lot of people I probably pissed off with like talking about Vindictus Defying Fates and First Descendant. Two games that from what I've played of both of them so far, the alpha for Vindictus and just first sent it when it first launched. Neither game has good characters. Neither game has good storyline. Neither game has interesting dialogue. Neither game has good voice acting, in my personal opinion. So for me, it feels like pretty shells of completely like empty, underdeveloped characters in both those games. The gameplay can still be good, but the story's weak and the characters are very, very underdeveloped, you know, very shallow. So does it make sense for them to be like sexualized in a world full of monsters and aliens and this and that? No, but we've always done that in video games. They've always been unrealistic. The characters have always been unrealistic to look at. Like, look at freaking He-Man. Look at like Conan the Barbarian. Look at all like Marvel characters. If we wanted to be like realistic about superheroes, Superman would not wear spandex. Okay, like it's not supposed to be realistic. They're trying to like paint this with the realism brush when realism has gone out the window the minute you sit down and you're playing a video game, you know? Vindictus was the game with a lot of the big bobs, and the characters look really nice. And the gameplay was very simple. It was my biggest problem with it. It was like, people were calling it Souls-like. I'm like, this game ain't Souls-like. It's very, very dumbed down. Very, very undercooked action RPG. Now again, just the alpha. They have time to fix it before they release it. So I'm not saying that Vindictus is going to be a bad game at launch. I'm just saying it didn't have any substance for me at all. There just was nothing there. Yeah, Lollipop Chainsaw. Although I think Lollipop Chainsaw might be a better game. Let's see. So it says, Stellar Blade also does very little towards building any rapport between the three, yet often expects me to believe that the ragtag trio share heaps of chemistry. Again, this is an issue with, again, a lot of these Chinese and Korean developers where they just don't do good with like actual character development for whatever reason. Which is crazy because look at Black Myth Wukong. Without knowing the ins and outs of the backstory, the characters are really good in Black Myth Wukong. You know, the ones you interact with and you come across along the way, even not knowing anything about them, if they're not even like a central character to the story, you still genuinely enjoy the interaction you have with them in the game. But so many of these games are just really empty, you know, shallow. It will be. There's no way that they're fixing a Money Pit game. I don't care for tits and such. I want characters like Alice McGee. We don't get that either nowadays. No, unfortunately, if the character is not super like big boobs and feminine and sexualized, if it's more of like a goth girl or like an emo girl or whatever, they're not going to be able to pull that off either. They're just going to make her a lesbian. I got stuck in the floor. I got stuck in a freaking rock. Man, I was literally stuck in the side of like between the floor and a boulder, okay? No way to even get out of it. The game played like crap, man. It was terrible. They essentially appear in Eve's story with a brief explanation, and the game acts like I was supposed to care all along. This is something I think is a legitimate complaint about a lot of storylines in different TV shows, movies, video games. If you don't establish the character and the characters aren't compelling and they're not relatable, again, not talking about representation, like seeing yourself on the screen, but relatability. Relatability is important, you know? I often wasn't moved by harder-hitting interactions between Eve and her companions because I wasn't drip-fed many relationship-building moments to get me invested in their dynamic. Let's see, it has plots and storyline, so it's not a slot machine. They could have just made it have a good story instead, right? What did Tekla say? Okay. Oh, you were talking about what he said, yeah. Story and world building is easily Stellar Blade's weakest point and lessens the impact of its plot twists. Doesn't help that it's narratively so close to both newer games that I couldn't help but compare its attempt at a similar plot rather unfavorably. Even compared to Nikki's own flavor of post-apocalyptic landscape with hot military women, it didn't feel quite up to snuff for my liking. Whereas Stellar Blade does differ from its inspiration, however, is the combat. I went in expecting a similar hack and slash style to Automata, only to discover something a little more in between a Souls-like and Devil's. See, if you want to call it more like Devil's May Cry, I guess that would make more sense. I'm tired of everything being called a Souls-like, and we've talked about this like on the recent live streams and videos. Souls-like is a massively overused term, to the point where, just like anything else, I think the term has lost all meaning. You know, if everything is Souls-like, nothing is Souls-like anymore. They constantly say things are unrealistic, despite most of them being based on real people, let alone some people having even more pronounced features. Well, that goes back to a lot of times you'll see people going like, oh, the body proportions are so unrealistic, but then they're based on a real person. And it's like, well, the problem is most people don't look at normal, healthy, non-obese people and understand that, you know, they have the same internal organs as everybody else. They're just not covered in 200 layers of blubber, you know? The story gets better by the end. Well, I'm not going to give up on the game. I'm going to stream it when I have time, which is, I don't know when. I have no idea. Keep in mind that critics are just some people with opinions. Oh, for sure. In the same way that I'm just a guy with opinions, and you guys don't have to take anything I say beyond, you know, just being my opinion. Let me see here. Different enemies support variety of attack patterns, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, so this is honestly the way that I kind of felt about a lot of these games. I said initially that I imagined, in my personal opinion, I'd probably give Stellar Blade an 8.5 when I'm all said and done. Because I'd say probably a 9 for gameplay and combat, 10 for the aesthetics, and probably a 6.5 for the story and dialogue. Because again, that's kind of how a lot of times these games go. They just, unfortunately, they're more designed for the fast-paced combat and the flashy moves, and again, the good-looking characters, which I think is important, and they tend to suffer more when it comes to the actual story, you know? Now here's a really funny one. The yellow paint right here. I don't understand this. Stellar Blade's level design is a bit all over the place. It rears its ugly head the most in the game's tutorial level, Ido 7. I'm usually a bit of a yellow paint apologist, but it's so abhorrent at the beginning of the game, I was shocked that I not only noticed it, but it was bothered by it. Why is there yellow paint here at the end of this bridge? I know some people don't care about yellow paint. I personally hate yellow paint in games. I wish it didn't exist. I wish you could turn it off in every single game. Why is there yellow paint right there, of all places? Like, holy shit. Oh, if you have, yeah, the dying and losing your experience, I guess that makes it Souls-like. Is that the first game? Was Dark Souls the first game that did that, though, guys? I mean, wasn't there another game that did that before Dark Souls? Dark Souls was what, 2000? 2016, I think, was Dark Souls 3 or 2018. So I imagine the first Dark Souls was probably like, what, 2012, 2010? I don't know. Let me see here. Oh my god, I forgot we're streaming on Kick and Twitch. On Kick, hey friend, I love the content you're streaming, but I can see that you need an audience watching your stream so you can start earning. Piss off. Piss all the way off. Can I ban them from here? I can't because I'm multi-streaming. That sucks. Dark Souls is not the first game to do that. I keep saying too many things are called Souls games when they're just action RPGs. Hey, Anime Mania, how you doing, dude? 2006 for Dark Souls? Damn. I don't know. I thought it was, I thought Dark Souls was like closer to 2010. Demon Souls. Never played Demon Souls. Darksiders. Oh, Darksiders did that. Okay. Yeah, no, the yellow paint in Vindictus I thought was really retarded too. I absolutely hated it. Like, it was brain dead. Like, oh my god, okay, I can figure this out on my own way. I don't need the yellow paint right there. Like, come on. They wanted to call Demon Souls Dark Hole. Oh my god. That would have been a mistake. Yeah, I would avoid putting the word hole in anything. Wait, Patriot, you just said if I were gay, I'd be a butt guy. How dare you? I mean, you're probably not wrong. I don't know. Maybe. I can't imagine if I was gay. I can't put myself in that mindset. I'm sorry. Still Demon Souls Remastered, no PC port. Yeah, that's another one again. Dark Souls came out. All right, so I was close. 2011. I was thinking 2012 originally. Demon Souls was 2008. Dark Souls was after. Okay. Yeah, I need to play Dark Souls Remastered at some point. I wanted to go back and play Dark Souls 3 again. I was planning on skipping 2. 2 for me sounds like Super Mario Brothers 2. It sounds like 2 was like the weakest of the trilogy. But I don't know. Again, limited time, limited effort, limited energy for all that shit, so. For the glory hole, exactly, yeah. Game also runs like an absolute dream. Okay, this is what I'm talking about here. Of all the things to you could nitpick this game for, the game runs amazingly well. I fear I've been traumatized by some particularly demanding games this year, looking at you Monster Hunter Wilds, and my hopes are never high when it comes to PC ports, especially considering Nick's PC version is at times rather scuffed. Yet, Stellar Blade made this be the smoothest, most optimized PC port I've played in a hot second. I had minimal frame dips throughout, maintaining a smooth frame rate, all while looking pretty damn good while doing it. Even played through the final stretch on my Steam Deck and was even more surprised to discover how bloody well it ran on a handheld. Yeah, no, the game is super, super well optimized. Not even a question. Pretty crazy. Dark Souls Remastered is 60 FPS lock. See, Mahendra, I mean, you know me, I'm a basic bitch. I don't really care about like the FPS lock. I really don't. I mean, not to be like an old fart, like a boomer or whatever, but it's like my first experience with a TV was an old TV that we couldn't, you know, change the channel on because the knob was broken and everything was like losing color and it was all pixelated and you got like 3 channels. I mean, like, I'm easy to please when it comes to like performance and audio video stuff. I'm not picky, man. Anti-Lizzo-ness might be considered a hate crime. Who said something about Lizzo? Wait. Who's talking Lizzo? Oblivion? What did you say, man? Yeah, this is the one from PC Gamer. Honestly, what's crazy, Anime Mania, is we went to the Gamer and looked at an article that they had about Stellar Blade. Not super unhinged. Not actually the most unhinged thing I've read, to be honest. Oh, dude. Kazan, I stopped playing it about 10 hours in. Not because I didn't like the game, but just because I got distracted. It was the first boss that I was like, holy shit, in the game. It was the Dragonkin something. I think it was something Dragonkin. That boss is no joke. Like, he did this move where he just like shot a ton of shit at me all at once, and I'm like, I have no idea how to defend this. So, giant wooden aquarium TVs, yeah, exactly. Performance is king. Keep your HDBS. I have no. You understand? I like good performance. I like things to perform well. I'm just not if it's not like the best audio quality, I'm fine with it. If it's not the best video quality or most frames per second, I'm fine with it. I want it to run well, to run smoothly. I just don't need it to be like 4K, 8K, ultra high def. You know, nothing like that. Typed a lot of words in a few of those comments. They love it. No, I'm not gonna put. I don't play any game on easy mode, Susano. So for me personally, I will make myself suffer through a game for hours on end, like beating my head into a wall. I'll look like DSP before I actually like put a game on easy mode. Not happening, you know. Not gonna do it. Play mini games in 10 FPS. Yeah. I'm gonna go look at the Stellar Blade Nexus, and it better be wholesome. Nah, dude, it's not. So, I asked some of you guys on Discord about Xmods. Apparently, it's an app, because I was hit up by them. They wanted to have me do an ad sponsorship thing for them. So, I have like a week to get it done. And they have mods for a few different games. And let me pull up the app so we can kind of talk about it. Because I'm not sure like how I feel necessarily about the app itself. If it'll actually load is the question. DSP is a national treasure. DSP is something. I wouldn't call him a treasure. Maybe more like a national embarrassment. So the idea behind this one is it's like a subscription service mod program where they have, obviously, I believe they have free ones, but they also have ones that are subscription based only. And the game has, you know, user mods that are also available, not just the ones that are built into the Xmods platform. Ironically, most of them are like making her more sensual, I guess, which is, I guess, thicker, which I'm all for. But I just don't know how I feel about this. I tried launching the game and messing around with the mods, and I couldn't figure it out. And I was asking if you guys had ever heard of X mods, but honestly, I looked into them and they just seem to be like, oh no, I am a better gamer than DSP. There's no question there. That was a joke. That was one of those self-deprecating comments. But no, I'm not that skill. I at least have some skills when it comes to games. I don't know. I have a hard time at this point, even though like I'm making like shit money on YouTube because the views suck. I have a hard time taking sponsorships for anything that I feel like is not a legitimately decent thing. They don't own the rights to the IP they're using their mods. Hey, Vernum. I'm PC literate until the next box. My opinion means nothing. Well, the idea behind the whole Xmods thing is to make it an easier way, because all you do is you launch the game from the app itself. You launch it in offline mode, and then you just turn on the mods you want to use. It sounds pretty simple. Yeah, most people have probably never heard of them because I think that it's like a Chinese mod or whatever, which I'm not saying is a bad thing necessarily. Obviously, we all know that Nexus mod sucks. So the fact that it's like an alternative for me, I find appealing, but I'm just like, I need to spend more time messing around with it before I actually do like a sponsorship for it. I mean, full disclosure, guys, they want to pay me like, $100 for an ad. It's money I don't have, but it's not like life-changing money where I want to advertise something that I don't feel confident about. So I don't know. I'm gonna look more into it, but the hard part for me is I don't even have time to play video games as it is. So playing video games and trying to look into a modding service that I know nothing about, that I'm trying to represent effectively if I'm gonna do an ad, it's like it's tough. Paid mods are fine if they're actually worth buying. Yeah. Again, notification. Joe Darkness, it's not just you. My channel, I'm pretty sure it's getting buried in the YouTube algorithm, either by YouTube intentionally or I don't know. Like I said, the video views, even though I know that the topic isn't always great. I know that I'm always late to the news. So that's fine. I get it. But unfortunately, I feel like there are a handful of channels that are getting kind of kicked in the nuts by YouTube's algorithm. I'm one of them. I know it for a fact. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting idea. Honestly, Joshua, I like the idea. I just want to make sure that if I'm going to do an ad for or a sponsorship for a program, that it's something worth doing. Like it actually does what it's representing itself to do, Dude, Xmods, it's a terrible name. It's a terrible name, okay? I Googled the company and the mod, and it's called X-Hub Play Xmod is the name of the app then from X-Hub Play. And I'm like, why did you guys have to say X-Hub? Like, my God, the top Google, you Google that shit, you know what the first result is. And I'm like, that's not what I was looking for. Oh, man. It's just unfortunate. It didn't appear in your feed. Yeah, Joe, honestly, I would apologize, except I'm not the one doing it. It's YouTube, man. Yeah, Oblivion, it's a paid service, but so I don't know if that means again like better mods, I mean, they're gonna have customer service and all that, fine, but that's like, well, they should better have customer service because if you're paying for something, that's kind of necessary. Have I noticed that since roughly 2009, the male protagonist and male sidekick in shows and games have gone in favor of male with female? Yeah, no, they've because that's all women are equal to men. That's intentional, Patriot. You're not wrong there. That's a good question, Cage. I don't pay for mods, I don't mod games though. If I were to mod something, I would probably look for free mods. But again, where do you look for your free mods? You look for them on Nexus, and Nexus sucks. So if we're talking about, alternatives to Nexus mods, I mean, there are people who probably pay for Nexus mods. I don't know. I'm sure that they have a paid tier for like access to better mods. Who knows? I bought mods before, but they're more like full out new game mods. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's a lot of times actual mods people pay for are something that drastically changes the way the game is played. So, let's see. In fact, paywalling mod content is often against EU, LA, and TOS of the game. So, well, that's interesting. See, Avernum, this is where I'm like, I need to know this kind of stuff because I don't want to do a sponsorship or something if they're already operating like in the gray area when it comes to the modding scene. I don't want to be associated with that. So, is it pre-recorded, Geo? It is not, but it's about to be done because I'm going to go to bed. If I don't, the wife is going to kill me. You've probably bought one of the Doom ones if you play that genre. Nah, I mean, I played Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 and the Doom 3 that was made by id. That was like the horror one. Okay, so Nexus has a paid subscription for better download speeds. Used to be you could pay a lifetime membership for $30. Now it's like $30 a month. Yeah, that's just the way things go, man. That's just literally like, that's the way this shit goes anymore. What used to be $50 for life is now $50 a month. Oh yeah, 7 Days to Die has some awesome mods. Yeah, Geo, I stream YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Twitch, Twitter, although Twitter sucks ass for live streams. It's terrible. Might leave Nexus if they actually start charging me. Honestly, I don't know that Nexus is going to be around much longer anyways, so. Alright guys, I'm going to hit the hay. Appreciate you guys for all hanging. I'm super glad I actually made myself do this because I was thinking I was just going to skip the stream and upload my video tonight. But, no, it was fun hanging with all you guys. Great turnout. You guys have been awesome as usual. Doom Dark Ages feels like playing volleyball. I'd be curious. I'd be curious now that I got my GPU installed, that I can play Doom the Dark Ages now, to play it for myself and see. I get what you're saying though with the timed deflect for the shield and all that. I could definitely understand it having that volleyball-esque type of feel. So, yeah, no, I could see that. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but generally trying to resell content using a game assets gets quickly into IP issues. All right, I will look into it. I'm going to look into it. I Googled the company, and they seem to be relatively small, relatively new. And so, like I said, $100 is not worth selling my soul. It's not worth doing something unethical. That's just not, like, if we were talking, like, significant type of, amount of money, things that would help me pay my bills, that's one thing. But, gonna go build my PC? Hell yeah, Joe. PC Master Race, buddy. All right, guys, take it easy. I'm gonna go so the wife doesn't murder me in my sleep. Hopefully, there's no World War III until the next stream. Okay, so I try to be a realist. I'm not an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. And looking at this realistically, if things continue, there will be some sort of World War III. I'm not saying like necessarily to the extent of the other two previous World Wars, but I'm relatively certain that that's the direction we're headed, but hopefully I'm wrong. Anyways, guys, what is it that you're supposed to stock up on in case of a nuke? Isn't it like iodine tablets or something, and lots of bottled water? Get some heavy blankets to put in front of your windows and stay away from the windows. So do all that just in case, guys. Have all that shit on hand. Just might as well. All right, Anime Geek, all you guys. We actually are already in World War III. It's just a Cold War. Yeah, see, Susano knows what we're talking about.